Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We have some questions here that we'd like to answer to make it clear to many people who do not know the significance of the two Eids. No doubt we have Eid al-Fitr, which comes at the end of fasting the month of Ramadan. And that Eid is a celebration, no doubt, thanking God, thanking Allah for what He has given us in terms of sustenance, provisions, food, shelter. And we, in this day, gather on Eid al-Fitr to bring happiness to our children, our families, and we eat a meal together. We visit family, keep ties of kinship, and share gifts on this blessed day of Eid al-Fitr. The second type of Eid which the Muslims celebrate, which is Eid al-Adha, which is also known as the festival of sacrifice. So the significance of Eid al-Adha, it symbolizes the act of obedience and submission to God's will, exemplified by Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him. Prophet Abraham was tested by Allah with his own son, Prophet Ismail. And instead of Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, sacrificing his own son, Allah commanded, after Prophet Abraham had passed the test of being sincere, Allah commanded that the actual slaughter would be of a ram instead. And so a ram, a sheep or a goat, or even a cow or a camel is sacrificed on this day, the day of Eid, which is the 10th day of the Dhul-Hijjah month in the Islamic calendar, and that is performed yearly. Once the sacrifice is done, then it is distributed into three parts: one for family, one for friends and relatives, and one for the needy and poor. So this act of charity and sharing reinforces the values of generosity, community, and support for those less fortunate. So this is Eid al-Adha, a great event, again, for sharing, caring, loving, keeping ties of kinship. And also, no doubt, remembering the sacrifice and sincerity of Prophet Abraham in fulfilling the commandments of Allah. And this also coincides with the completion of Hajj, because the day of Eid, most of the acts of worship done on Hajj are done on the day of Eid for the pilgrims who have gone out for Hajj. So just as the pilgrims who have gone out for Hajj have acts of worship, likewise the Muslims around the world who are not able to perform Hajj, or who are not able to perform Hajj, they also have a day of acts of worship, which is also a day of Eid for them, and day of acts of worship because they actually sacrifice an animal and distribute meat to the poor. So this shows us that these are acts which focus on charity and community building. So this day, a day of prayers, of sacrifice, a day of distribution of meat to the poor and needy and friends and family, a day where families get together and they have a meal together, a day of charity, a day of visiting family and friends, and most importantly, bringing happiness to one's children and family. On this day of Eid, likewise, you'll find there's extra supplications, extra takbir, where one glorifies Allah, the Creator, where Allah glorifies Allah more, making takbir. And there's also reflection upon oneself, upon the story of Prophet Abraham and his son, Prophet Ismail, the reflection of sacrifice and distribution of charity to the poor and needy, keeping the ties of kinship. These are all good actions, and actions that bring one closer to paradise. Once more, these activities that are performed on this day, they help foster a sense of spirituality, community, and compassion. We live in a time where people become less God-fearing, people have become less spiritual, and you'll also find people become very lonely in communities. And so this is a beautiful time for all people to come together and share their love and their kindness in order to bring about a better society and better community building. The 10th day of Dhul-Hijjah, which is the day of Eid al-Adha, comes in those first 10 days of Dhul-Hijjah, that month, whereby these days are considered to be the best days of the year. And they're considered to be even better than the days of Ramadan, because these days, you will find great acts of worship, not just the Hajj pilgrimage, but also you'll find Muslims increasing in their charity, in their prayers, in their fasts, in their supplications, in their remembrance of Allah. And the Eid day comes after the 9th day of Dhul-Hijjah, which is the day of Arafah, where Muslims believe that Allah descends to the lowest heavens and He boasts to the angels, concerning those that have come from afar to seek His forgiveness. And most of the people on this day, the 9th day of Dhul-Hijjah, the day before Eid, is the day of Arafah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives many people and removes them from being punished in the hellfire. A day of forgiveness, mercy, compassion, and overlooking of faults.